Here we are, Jensen Vars here, gonna continue playing session number 3 of Legacy Life Among Ruins, short campaign. I played one of the sessions offline, so a few things might not be included in the previous videos if you have been watching them. So let's get going. Our character, main protagonist Hardy, the scavenger, found along her group an old library full of moss and grass, and they eventually, after certain exploration, found some extracts of organic material that they could be used to cure the plague, potentially of the mushroom groves that are growing sick, which are a supply of food to many other settlements, particularly the ones that belong to the Watchfire Legion. And in order to avoid any, let's say, hit in the diplomatic relationships, Hardy is traveling over to the mushroom grove sickness area to explore and figure out what happened there, where this plague is coming from. Alongside her partners, Carl the medic, Brand the scout, who's got very sick after a poisonous attack from an underground worm that almost killed him. And in this library we just explored and spent the night, so we're gonna proceed down to the north and see how things go by. I'm gonna use a play by the writing utility to roll some dice faster. Manually seem to be a bit slow in my experience, so let's see how it goes. Let's get started. All right, wake up, all you little pussies. What's going on? Time to travel. You have to move on. Oh, yeah. It's anyways always dark. Come on. Let's give some good energy to this travel. Let's wake up the others. Yeah, sure, I'll take care of that. You take care of the tea. At least I'm glad you're feeling better. I am. Those toxins help me indeed in the night. This long night, and it's always dark, and you know the drill. Hold on, slow down a little bit. You're just still waking up, Brad. Yeah, come on. My arm is ready and my gun is there to get going and hit some night crawlers if they ever think of, even consider the idea of coming to our path. I seriously would prefer that they don't find us, and I would say, come on. Anyways, I'll go and wake up the others. Let's get going. Sure thing, boss. You're the boss. Does it look like? Come on. And everybody wakes up slowly from their tents and their sleeping bedrolls in this full of moss and grass library that they had to cut off with some machetes and make some room and find a cozy place to crash for the night. And as everybody wakes up, Brand will make sure to wake up everybody else and prepare the cargo caravan. Carl would be preparing some morning teas, even if in this world there's no morning per se. The world is full on darkness. It's kind of depressing, to be honest, but they got used to it, and what they do is make sure that wherever they are, they hang on lights and use this neon and oil fueled neon powered lights to give life to the world. Hardy, she's gonna prepare her tools, make sure she's got everything. They already scavenged the library. They did not find much other than old rotten books and some extracts of organic material that, after further study, it can be helpful to investigate what's going on with the sick mushroom groves up to the north. Going back to the map, I have switched the figurines with hex tiles that look very nice on the map, and here we are on Tabletop Simulator. So, what do you guys do? I ask myself. We have the Marisol clan probably making progress up on the north, slowly traveling towards the Watchfire Legion headquarters, or the famous lawgivers, while the small Hardy's party is traveling sideways because Brandt got some sort of poison from the swarm, and fortunately he's feeling better, but nobody wanted to take the risk to travel with him, other than Hardy and their party, of course. So they're gonna make their next move. I'm gonna ask if anything happens. I'm gonna make an intervention check. I think that's the intervention check here. And there's nothing happening, nothing special. Let's describe a little bit this area we are going through with an adjective. It's needing thirsty, so it seems like a dry area. And it's also deadly and fearsome and invincible, immune. So the characters travel through an open plains that's incredibly dry, and they feel already some of the impact and the effects of the plague that's been hitting this area and this zone, as they can see an opening with full of rotten equipment, material from before the apocalypse, some destroyed buildings, nothing of value, burned down pieces of cars, lots of trash and litter, and the path is not really marked, but they follow certain shapes of an old, probably a river or a small river, that makes up some space for them to walk through, but they do notice the roots of whatever is left from plants are dead, and the land is pretty dried up. There's no signs of water, even though Hardy remembers seeing some water in this area. Let's get a prompty question for inspiring a little bit ourselves about traveling here. Let me go to my prompty question. Oh, here you are, prompty. Let's see, what can you tell us? Traveling question. I need 2d10 for this, for the 100. Let's go. 39. How familiar or similar to each other are the places? Alright, so the diversity of the traveling area. I would assume what the characters know so far is that closer to the mountains is where the old cities were located and where the current settlements take place. And closer to the mountains there's also a stronger wind, greater or bigger sources of water falling down the mountains from a clean source of water. But in the middle, where we're currently traveling, are usually drought and very dried up areas. This is all, most of it, unexplored territory. This area is a bit more known by the characters, but with the darkness it's hard to explore, so exploration is really not a viable option because of the overall darkness of this world. And at the same time, it's incredibly dangerous with the lately presence of the night crawlers that everybody's talking about. If we take a look at the plot unfolding machine lists, our current story troubles are related to the plague of the fungus. Brand's got something going on. The wraiths roaming in the dark. There are also horseman raiders, so bad guys roaming the lands. And now we figure there's also hellish worms coming from underground. And nobody knows or has seen before this kind of worm, so it might be related to the plague itself. With that said, following this trace of a river in the darkness with the neon lights, Hardy carries on a light blue LED light that it's quite good for a few meters on the radius, and each one of the party members also take these kind of lights. Eventually they will come to the Mushroom Grove area, and I don't have any strong expectations to what's going on there. I imagine there will be certain quarantine going on by the Watchfire Legion, so I expect security or protection. But other than that, I don't know what's going to happen. Let's get plot unfolding machine prompt. We're going to face a skill challenge where strength or power could be of help. Alright, and let's get a what for power or control. Alright. So what I'm doing, just to explain to the audience, I'm rolling a scene beat random prompt on the plot unfolding machine, just doing it here with play by the writing because it's slightly faster. Figuring it out, we will see later what is better. I just want to stick more in the game, and I want to close this parenthesis and come back to the game. Hardy, Carl, and Brandt approach a very large fence with some guards carrying on as well torches and other neon lights, making shifts and walking around. And as they see the characters coming there, they turn around, and one of the guards approach Hardy. You get a stereotype of a character, someone who's afraid of coming to harm. So one of those guards seems to be a young lad, seems to be a new on his position, and Hardy can tell that it's related likely to the numerous deaths that the plague is carrying on with it and the struggles they're having, so they need younger reinforcements taking guards and shifts. So things are not exactly well. And the guard is gonna take a look at the characters and say, "Oh, who are you? Identify yourselves." "My name is Hardy. We are from the Fungus Fellowship." "All right. What is your intention here?" "I came here in an official statement to investigate and help you guys with the plague and the side effects of the food supplies that you're dealing with." "Oh yeah, let me check his attitude. I'm gonna think he's overall positive. So I'm gonna give a scene unfolding machine favorable attitude. Okay, approach and greet you normally and openly. Sure, that is good, but it's not the right moment right now. We're facing some challenge and you'll have to wait. We have an encampment area over there if you want to take rest while we figure out what is going on. What is going on exactly? Maybe you can help. Things are never going the way we want, is it? Yeah, maybe we can help. What is your name? And the guard says, use ethics name generator. My name is Guard T. Alright, guard. What is it going on exactly? And he says, I'll need also some sort of mission maybe, or setup. get something here. Never mind. We've got one of the pipes down the south has exploded. It was our main source of water for the supply, so all of the forces are taking care of that thing, but nobody can or seems to be able to restore it as it was. That doesn't look good. Maybe we can give a hand somehow. Well, it's better if you talk to my boss. I need to stay around here and protect the fields, even though nobody's working on them because of the plague. By any chance, did you bring any food? I'm starving. Do we have any extra food? I think we could have some food. No way we have some extra food. Come on, Brad. Sure, here, take. And Hardy gives the young lad some sort of sandwich-like made of fungus that the fungal fellowship develops, and he seems to be very happy. What could be on next? Let me check her moves. I think she's got natural acolyte. As long as you only consume the food and drink you've produced, you won't fall ill or be attacked by mundane wild animals. So the food that the fungal fellowship produces is like the best of the best, given the circumstances. So, guard, where is this pipe? Is it far away from here? Do we have to go elsewhere, or is it nearby? Let's see what he responds. He doesn't know. I'm not sure exactly. Would have to ask my boss. All right. Who's your boss and where can I find him? He's over there. You need to walk past the fence, follow the line until you find the big outpost tower. You can't miss it. It's gonna go with the red lights hanging from it. Good luck. All right, thank you. I'm wondering if we have any questions for this guard. Maybe you can get some. Now that we gave him a sandwich, he should be helpful, right? Maybe he can tell us a general thing about the plague. Before we go, Mr. Can you tell us anything about how has it been on the field? Could anyone produce any food at all? Was there any food at all? Yes, of course. Yes, the guard says. But it's extremely scarce. Only the northwestern side of the field still can produce some fungus that don't have that greenish tone, they say. That's what we have been feeding with. Alright, any side effects from eating the healthy part of it? I'm gonna guess it's likely not. No, but it's dangerous. No, but honestly speaking, nobody likes it. Even if we are eating the supposedly approved produced food, nobody really trusts it, and so everybody's eating way less than the even already scarce amount of food we have. So we're finding to eat other things. Other things? What exactly? We go hunting. I guess hunting in this world is quite difficult because of the darkness of an absent sun, but still the highest skilled hunters could sometimes find some mutated monster that can serve as a food. Alright, has hunting been successful so far? Yes, but be careful. Yes, we could eat some variety lately, but they tell us to be careful and eat just enough and the minimum we can from whatever we're given. You know, also hunters aren't exactly plenty, and they are quite valued and protected by the elders of the lawgivers. Alright, anything else you can add or tell me that I should know? Let's see if he can have anything to add. No, does not much, but he says it's strange. So the guard says, not really. I'm just hoping this thing to be like healed and come back to our normal food production supplies and not depend on others. If you ask me, it's very strange. What is strange exactly? Yeah, what is strange exactly? Maybe he could even give us some sort of clue or discovery of some sort. Maybe a recent occurrence. Let's see if this makes sense. Object or vehicles started malfunctioning. Okay, so he says, it's strange that not only the food supplies are gone bad, but also we lost that communication to the medicine outpost. He's talking about this one, down on the south. And right at the same time, I think it's more than bad luck here. Somebody's trying to sabotage us, if you ask me, but don't take this out loud, it's just my mere opinion. Alright, thank you, Gar. You're pretty young, aren't you? Yeah, I'm 17. Got friends here in the guard helping you? Yeah, you know, the usual. We try to go on light parties, but now that I'm working I cannot. Need to protect and be the almighty defender. Huh, been there, done that, says Brandt. Look where it got me, and he shows his armed metal arm. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that you lost your arm. Did it hurt? Hell yeah, it hurt. At least until I passed out, of course. It was a long time ago. Alright, I think we should go. Thank you for your time, Guard T. I'm sure we can find something to help, and if you meet with any other of your Guard of Council of the Lawgivers, please give them word that we arrived. Sure, ma'am, but it's better if you go and talk to your boss. Okay, what's your boss name? Let's generate some name for him. He's called Orn Yu. I'm guessing it's gonna be some Asian. Thank you. So the characters go by to the round side. I'm gonna advance the pin here. Oh, I think I should have made 2 already, because previous session I did another one. And we're gonna go and visit the boss and knock on his door and figure out where we can help. Gonna probably need some sort of a side quest generator. Probably going to use Game Unfolding Machine one. But other than that, I don't expect any surprises. I'm gonna go for a modified proposal roll. Number 2, add anger or indignation to the scene. Alright. Let me get some adjective for the location. Empty, inhabited, clear, void, desolated. Alright. Let me see if mythic locations element descriptor gives me something more interesting. It's not that it's not interesting, I'm just curious with the location keywords. Natural and occupied. I think I still prefer scene unfolding machine multi-word adjectives. Natural occupied is also fine. A bit more of a stretch for my mind. Anyways. They follow some path following the instructions of the fence and find this large tower full of lights. red lights of neon and oil-fueled combustion lights. And I'm gonna assume there's a bunch of guards down there taking watch, and they're just sitting on, hanging around there, but they seem to be quite uncomfortable and having a discussion of some sort. Let's see, what are they talking about? Action, subject. To wrap up, finish, conclude, a research or information. Alright, so we will find two guards over there having a discussion. In the name of the Dark Sun, when are the researchers going to let us know how the hell are we supposed to eat? They're gonna let us starve, you know? They're gonna let us starve. That's what they want. It's all pure politics, says one guard to the other. The other responds, relax, Jorg. I'm sure we'll find a solution. Let's not demonize it already. With the wraiths and the whole monsters luring in the dark, we have enough already. Well, yeah, how are we supposed to fight them if we're starving to death? I'm weak, I don't have strength, my muscles are... I don't even want to eat any more of that fungus. Mike, it's gonna be alright. And then Hardy joins, and she's gonna say, hello everyone, Hardy here. This is Carl and Brandt with me, and somewhere behind we have more of our caravan. We belong to the Fungus Fellowship, but we came here to help with the plague situation. Damn time you come. I don't think they were... Well, it's better late than never. We came as fast as we could given the circumstances. Yeah, right. Where is your boss? Is your boss over there? Let me see. What do they say? No, I think not. No, I don't think he's back. Boss, are you there? Nobody answers. I guess that's a nod. Your boss, he's on you, right? Yeah. He's probably looking into the pipe situation. Can you tell us more what happened with the pipe situation? Let's get some inspiration for that. Action, adjective, subject. Soul figure out, macabre, horrific, or terrifying outpost. What happened? I don't know. We just lost some of our water supplies one day to the next. So on top of our hunger, now we're also dying out of thirst, drinking old water and wine. Looks like the boss and as a group of them followed the pipes downstream on the mountains. And they informed us that they have found the source of one of those pipe damages happened in some old cave down there. A cave? I don't know, that's where they say the leak is from. So they went into some sort of expedition or something. Or at least they're preparing for one. Alright. Do you think that is related to the plague situation itself? Let's see, what does he say? Definitely that. If you ask me, no way it's related. This is just a water problem. I hope not, at least. Alright. So you still have some water supplies as a backup. Yeah, we do, but if we don't solve the situation soon, we won't starve literally this time. We use water to, you know, go by on our lives. Alright, I'm sure we'll find a situation. I'm gonna look after your boss. Can you tell me where he is, where this cave is that you mentioned? Let me see and ask a deterministic question whether this cave is far away or not. Yes, it's far away. So I'm gonna place a cave somewhere around here. All right. So it's somewhere around here. He will say, well, it's a bit far away. You'll have to walk for about 2 hours or so, and then follow the feet of the mountain. Not to get lost, you should follow the rocks that have a neon light on them. Never lose sight of them, and you should get in a place where the expedition is getting prepared. You shouldn't miss it. All right, thank you. Do you mind if our caravan spends time on your visitors' encampment? Sure thing, but it's accumulating of people. More travelers coming by, and we cannot let anybody in the outpost right now with the quarantine. Understood? Understood. Thank you for that, mister. So our characters are gonna go somewhere here. And let's check with scene unfolding machine whether something happens. GM intervention. I think that's a command, isn't it? GM intervention. Anyways, I don't remember it. Intervention check. The GM remains silent, nothing happens. So we travel for a few hours. Nothing special along the way. The place itself, let me see how it looks. Let me get some adjective. The path itself it's selected and decided. It's pretty easy to follow the path. There's some fence line marking and these stones with some hanging neon lights that point out the propriety of the lawgivers faction who own this area. And of course it's obviously dark outside, and I'm gonna ask some prompty question to narrate a little bit. Maybe a location question or a travel question. Probably a location question. 40. What could we find familiar or related to us here? That's a nice question, because it prompts you to think, what do they have in common or not between the fungal fellowships and the Watchfire Legion? So the Watchfire Legions is pretty a militaristic faction, so despite not being able to see in the horizon, the characters can see a lot of neon lights from what seems to be towers, militaristic towers, outposts, improvised fortresses. And it is known that there are about 4,000 inhabitants there, so it's quite a powerful faction, and that's also a lot of bellies to feed. And they are the biggest source and the biggest faction actually in the region. And you can see in the horizon these red lights from hanging posts, signs. They have these communication methods with like blinking lights, as well as some radio communication for some platforms that are advanced enough. While on the other hand, the Fungal Fellowship is more like communism in nature, and as well quite druidic, I would expect. I think we have this nice image here. They probably live in the biggest hangars, and it's much less organized formally, and it's much more about philosophy and sharing and openness. At the same time, it's a bit strange because these two guys don't look like the typical druids, if you ask me, though that could mean there's also some variety over there and some more modern-like people. But in general, they are stronger with the culture aspects of things and their connection to the nature. And they are biggest suppliers of food as well, so they play a purpose over there. So the characters do feel unfamiliar with the fact that everything has a process and responsibles and strictness, but it also makes sense for the amount of people they are. So the characters do feel uncomfortable a little bit with this so much strong discipline of it. They are much more relaxed in nature. As they travel, they approach to we call this old caves, parentheses, broken pipes. What will happen next here, I don't really know, but I expect, they said that we are preparing an expedition, so I'm gonna expect some sort of encampment and tents with some sort of operation where there's people preparing for repair and research. To figure out what's going on with the pipes. Nonetheless, I really don't know what to expect here. Oh, I do actually. I'm gonna go anyways with the modified proposal. That's a number one. We're gonna be interrupted with random prompt. That's interesting. I'm gonna advance the plot track one pin more. And we're gonna see what's the random prompt. Not really much like the scroll bar over here is annoying. Prompt. Confront or resolve a story trouble. Okay, that's not good. Note story trouble is the number 1 or 2. Didn't load my lists over here. Story trouble, we've got plague, fungus, grove effects. That's very interesting. As the characters approach the area, there is an encampment indeed, but there's no security. And suddenly, everybody hears 2 shots. Bang, bang. The characters look at each other. What was that? I don't know. Better be ready. Anything could be going on. I am ready. Let's take a look. And they come through a fence, a reinforced fence with some blockade, but there's no one guarding it. They took a look around and see if there's anything there, but there seems to be nobody. They come through the fence and the blockade, they walk past a little bit through the darkness into what seems to be, like, what is this place exactly? We should describe. The encampment is destroyed and abandoned, so it seems to be an abandoned mining station. So there's tracks and railroads and mining wagons, some rocks, probably some mountain working equipment and old machines that are all rotten and forgotten. So the characters take over behind some of these and try to take a look and follow the sound of the gunfire. As we get closer, we are going to see a group of people, guards, and they are looking downside and there's a dead person and one of the guards holding a rifle. Looks like they just shot the dead man. Brandt is gonna step forward and ask, everybody stay still. This is the Fungus Fellowship. What is going on here? And on the other side, we're gonna find the boss that we were looking for. It's gonna say, Oh, it's all good. Weapons cleared, everybody. The situation is now taking control. It's under control. I'm sorry to see that you're coming in bad circumstances. And I'm guessing you came here to help. I am, he's gonna introduce himself. What was his name? Name is Orn Yu, Sergeant of the second line of security of the lawgivers. It's good to see someone from the Fungus Fellowship family. Thank you, sir. Considering the fact there's a dead person down there, we can leave introductions for a little bit later. Yeah, what the hell happened here? Do you need medical help? And the person, I keep forgetting his name. It's difficult. Orn-Yu, Sergeant Orn-Yu says, well, it's an unfortunate sort of event. One of our men seemed to have eaten an infected fungus from the plagued supply. That's where we came to help with. Why did you have to kill him, however? He says, worried. There's no chance they recover in time. The first symptom is on their skin. They become pale and gray and they raise some fever. Up to that point, we can still rescue some of our guys by giving them some specialties that our medical fields have been researching. But those who don't recover from the fever, they just develop a mental sickness. Mental sickness? Yes, a mental sickness. They get in a psychotic rage. They lose it. They lose their minds and become dangerous. And we cannot risk having dangerous people on the militaries here. So our policy is to sacrifice those of our own to protect the others. That seems extreme. Why don't you try putting them on a cage or something? Unfortunately, we don't have the time to do that, to deal with that. The psychotic rage comes so spontaneously and the consequences are so dire that we even had some shootouts and civilian losses. Until we find a cure, we cannot deal with that risk. That seems dire. How can we help? And he says, oh God, we are supposed that we were hoping that you know how to help us. If you like to help with the plague thing, you should talk to our biologists, see what they know so far. What we are here for is some pipes that gone leaking and we're not receiving any clean sources of water anymore from them, so that's the priority number one if you ask me. What's your plan? So let me go to Game Unfolding Machine and generate a plot lead. Can use this plot seed generator for that kind of stuff, and usually there's an initial lead to what could have happened and what they are against. So no, this is the wrong dice. Initial lead number 7, an unhelpful witness who won't talk. All right, I like that. And the opposition 20. You need networking to find them. Right, that's a bit tricky to work with, but I can do something with that. The sergeant, and I keep forgetting his name, Orn-Yu, Sergeant Orn-Yu says, we have been spotting some horseman raiders around this area lately. Some skirmishes happen through ours and theirs, but they seem to be less frontal lately, and they are just trying to damage and sabotage our infrastructure. We have everything under control with outposts, but this pipe seemed like we had a blind spot and they found it first. That's what we assume, at least. We don't know if it's were them or not. Alright, so we need to deal with these raiders. Yeah, but more than these raiders, we need to recover this, to fix this leak and find it wherever it is inside this cave. We were preparing an expedition with a sort of group that could help us repair it, but we are lacking men, to be honest, and we need to guard the fronts if these horseman raiders are coming again. We could give a hand. This could also be related to at least the plague, isn't it? Isn't this the water used to supply the fields anyways? Well, yeah, but the northeastern side of the field is still producing good fungus and good food, and it has been using this water too, so unless something is wrong over there, I don't think the water is the problem, miss. This is just an unrelated problem. I'm gonna add a lead to add this point over here. The virus is not expanding. Synthetics being on the east. I think this is not an interesting lead anymore, so I'm gonna replace it with water supplies. Can be an issue. Gonna make the font later of these sheets later on smaller. Still, it's worth a shot, and we can give a hand. If your man can't secure the outposts, we can gladly take a look at these pipes. This is in either way outside your protected territory. Well, yeah, it is outside our protected territory, but we still need to secure it after this. We cannot let this happen again. But appreciate it if you can go and take a look. The cave is over there. We have marked it with some neon lights on the entrance. And they point to this place like this, of course, minus the light. I should have stated it's night in the image. I think that's actually important. I'm gonna add that this is at night and generate. Oh, there was. Or maybe use this one instead. I like this one. So I'm gonna switch the image of this thing in favor of the one that's at night to be more in-game related. So there's a big building that's like a construction and mining site, and then its entrances. So I guess that's not a cave, but rather a mining site. Who knows? From before the fall anyways, it doesn't serve any purpose. What we know is that the pipe leads that way and goes inside that thing. Fair enough. Anything else? Can we get a permission to investigate the fungus situation later on? Asks Hardy. Yeah, sure, I can help you with that. But we really need to deal with this water problem first. Alright. Seems like a big risk. Question is what's in it for us, right? So the fungus fields are developed by the Fungus Fellowship family. So if they fix this problem, or at least the water problem, it's gonna help them with the relations, not to get the families fighting each other. And that's what Hardy wants to achieve. It's a bit risky, but nothing, I mean, seems like an interesting opportunity to improve those relations and then also get access to discard whether the water is the source of the problem of this plagued fungus field production that's getting people sick. The situation seemed extreme here, like they had to sacrifice their own because they get in a psychotic range. So let's actually explore the dead body first before we move on. And that would be Carl. We would like to see this the dead body for analysis. Would you let us do that? Will they let us do that? Unless they're hiding something, don't see a reason for them. No, it's dangerous. So he says, no way. Nobody's touching the bodies. Only our specialists can, in full hazmat suits, can move them and touch them. I wouldn't worry about it myself, sir. I just need to take a look at what's going on with this body and see what kind of death it had. So he said no. I think what Carl wants to investigate is to see if we can learn something from these, how is it called? Symptoms. So he's gonna try to convince him to do it anyway, so I'm gonna roll 2d6 plus 1. That's a 10, so he succeeds. He says, I'm an expert in biology and medicine from the Fungus Fellowship. If there's anyone who can add and learn something from out of this messy situation, it's me, sir, with all due respect. Wow, I didn't know you could talk like that, Carl. Shut up. And the guard, the sergeant will say, fine, just 5 minutes. He turns around, the sergeant turns around and gives some instruction to his men to allow that as they were transporting the body. Carl will equip some gloves, wear on his gas mask and everything to maximum protection, and he's gonna take a look